All right, guys, we'll do the 450 division, top 5 in points. In 5th, riding for Honda HRC, Cole Seeley. In 4th, riding for Rockstar Energy, Husqvarna, Factory Racing, Jason Anderson. In 3rd, on the Red Bull KTM, Marvin Musquin. Currently 2nd in points on the Monster Energy Kawasaki, Eli Tomac. And the points leader on the Red Bull KTM, Ryan Dungey. Cole, you're unfortunately not going to be racing tonight, but could you take us through maybe a glimpse of the season in a whole, maybe a high and low of what you've taken for 2017?
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to kind of sum the whole thing up, but I mean, it's really kind of a disappointment for me. It definitely doesn't reflect, how hard that I trained for the season, how hard the team worked, how good the new bike is, really anything. So it's, I don't know, just a year that I'm going to kind of have to scratch off and try and really just take what I learned this year and apply it to next year.
Jason, a lot of attention tonight, or tomorrow night on Ryan, Eli, Marvin, but you don't have a win yet this season. I know that's important to you. How can you grab that attention back onto yourself and close the season with a win?
Yeah, for sure. These guys have been riding really good this year, and I don't have a win. I felt like I was in position to get one last weekend and had a little bit of a fall, but all in all, I feel like I've been riding good these last 3 rounds or so, and I'm just looking forward to ending it off on a good note and hopefully getting a win or just battling up front. That's all I'm looking for. I'm hoping to be out front and watch the battle happen behind me for this deal that's going down. So that's my goal.
Marvin, you have 2 wins on the season, and you're locked in now long-term with KTM. What changes can be made with your program that will enable you to be fighting for the championship next year at this point, coming into the final race?
Well, I think just consistency, being on the podium, and I've missed and lost a lot of points in like Auckland, for example, to start with, and a couple of other rounds. So, at the end of the championship, if you're close to the podium at every round, then you're battling for the championship. So 3rd place right now is a good step forward compared to last year for sure. So we're happy with that, but yeah, we train really hard and we want to step it up next year and battle for the championship for the whole season.
Eli, mathematically, you're in position where you probably need a win and then a little bit of help. How do you bounce back from last weekend's race and at least take care of the business that you need to right off the top and get yourself a win tomorrow and let things happen behind you?
For us, it's just going and doing what we've done, which is go out and try to win the race and do our best. We have 9 wins this season and, and a couple of hiccups too. So it is a little bit of a bummer to be, a little bit behind, but nothing's over till it's over, and let's do what we can.
Ryan, in your 3 championships that you have won, you've clinched the championship before coming to Vegas. So even in the later stages of your career, this is kind of a new situation for you to be here in Vegas with the championship still on the line. Does that affect you in any way? Anything different about that? I mean, obviously on paper it is, but you personally, how do you approach that?
Just the same. I mean, it's obviously nice to get it done before the last round, but we got to clinch it at some point, and you got to do it at some point. So being it come down to the last round, it happened back in 2009 in the lights class. I think that was in both my 250 championships in Supercross and Motocross. So, but nothing the same. Nothing's different. I mean, the focus for me is the same as it is every single weekend. What we've done, how we've approached it, to go out there and the goal is to race to win, and more just focus on that at the task at hand, and let the rest figure itself out.
Okay, we'll open it up for 10 minutes of Q&A.
Steve Cox, is Cycle News. Eli, how much can you tell us about what actually went on last week? Because it didn't look, even on television, it didn't look like you were the guy on the bike in a lot of ways. What can you tell us about that?
The whole day was a little bit of a struggle. I don't know. It was a really technical track. Conditions were soft, but it wasn't anything we hadn't dealt with. In the previous rounds. You had Seattle and a few of those East Coasts that were soft in them. I don't know. It was a little bit different though. It was, I would say, the spongiest track we've ridden. But going to the main event itself, I put myself in the right position, and I was the guy to make the mistake, and just wash the front end out. So that's really all there was to it. Yeah, it would have been cool to have the hero ride and come back after that crash. But when you do crash on that, second or third lap, it's tough to make the charge all the way to the front, and tough to push it and hopefully not make another mistake. And I even did it one time, went off the triple. So it was just that it was tough one to swallow, crashing early like that.
Jason from RacerX. Eli, some people were saying, it changed because you had the points lead, you had the red plate, you weren't the hunter anymore, you were actually out front. Did that change anything for you felt last weekend?
No, I didn't feel any added pressure. The week before, I had the red plate at the same time, so wasn't the color of the plate for me. It was a tough racetrack for one, and then just me making the mistake and sliding out. I don't know what to say. I tipped over. I had a lot of good races before that. And wins, and you can only do so much.
I'll just keep going. Eli, are you aware of what was going on up front? Marvin had the lead until the very end of the race, and then Ryan was able to get around him. Did you know about any of that or have any idea what happened there?
I mean, after the fact, I obviously knew about it, and it's that was tough to see. Also, if the championship does come down to those 3 points, that's a bummer for everyone. But hey, if you want to take that home and sleep on that at night, knowing that someone pulled over for you, then it is what it is.
Cole, what exactly is wrong with your leg deal? What's the story with that?
Torn adductor.
Is that like by your hip?
No, it's on the inside of your leg.
Inside.
Yeah, so I can't really get my foot on and off the peg, and can't squeeze the bike, and really it's kind of dangerous for me to be out there. And then also with the upcoming outdoor season, trying to be as fresh as I can for that. It all kind of started in St. Louis, and it's kind of just lingered, and I've kind of tried to push the issue and get on the bike a little too early each time, and it's affecting me in bad ways. So I'm gonna just, like I said, just try and be as healthy as I can for outdoors.
Michael Antonovich with Trans World Motocross. This is specifically for Eli and Ryan. This year, so much stuff has happened for both of you. Good rides, bad rides, strange days, points leads, all that. Do you guys pay attention to anything we say or do, or are you just so focused on your own deal that it doesn't matter because you know the bigger picture ahead? I mean, there was a lot of talk in the last 6 days of everything that happened last Saturday, probably more than ever, and it has to get back to you at some point. Or do you not pay attention at all?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just talk. I mean, it's at the end of the day, that's why I stay off all the message boards. That's why I don't go on Instagrams and read the comments. I mean, you're gonna see something. I mean, one way or another. Today, people can get through to you a lot easier than they did in the past. But if anything, we're out there to do a job, get our job done, and to do that and to stick to that. There's been a lot of talk, and whether people sway one way or another, whether they're for you or for not, like I could care less. I know what I'm here for. I know what I'm doing. Me and the team and my crew and everybody. So it's just, within the team. So it's just, I try to just focus on my own deal. I try to keep it simple, not get involved in all that stuff. And it's easy to go on that stuff. It'll get you worked up. If you really want to, you can. But I choose not to, and I see the bigger picture and focus on that and not get caught up in all the little drama and petty stuff.
I'm mostly the same way, I do go on there a little bit here and there, social media, but at the end of the day, if you're not the guy, racing us or battling with us in the stadium, you really don't know what's going on.
Ryan, you had I had heard earlier this year, you were talking about you're going to know by Vegas about what you were going to do after this year. Is this going to be your last Las Vegas Supercross?
Yeah, I'd rather not comment. I still got a lot of stuff to figure out. I haven't really made a decision.
Okay.
This will be the last question.
Ryan, how are you able to ride out the ups and downs? The last 2 years, you had a nice points lead for most of the season, so at least on the outside, it wouldn't appear super stressful, although anytime you're winning a title is stressful in its own way. But this year, it's been so close, and he's had good races, and you've had bad races. How are you been able to maintain a pretty level head? Because obviously, at one point, you lost the points lead, and you got back in it. So how are you able to keep your head in the game?
Yeah, just keep persevering. I think just keep really focused on what I can do, and let the rest figure itself out. And, I've been very fortunate. I work with a great team. I have ever since I came into my professional career, and I've worked with a lot of great people. So that's been very helpful. I've been able to be on equipment that's been the best throughout my whole career, so that's been helpful. But every championship's different. Some like we've won some before the end, we've won some at the very last race. They all come down. There's different. I get asked a lot, what's so different in wrapping up your first or second or third, and it's like they're all different in their own ways. The way it played out, the competitors, and competition. It's always something different. It's a new challenge. So. Yeah, this year's been one of the most challenging 450 seasons of my career, absolutely, and I think we can all agree. And just really keep persevering. And all my life, the words that flash through my head is never give up. I remember when I was 13, running up the hill, I started training, started figuring stuff out, and it's like I got to work out now. And I just remember I had such a bad side ache and. I wanted to give up, and I said, don't quit. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. And my whole life, and even the words flashed through my head in Seattle. I went down in the start and dead last, and had to start the bike. And in one of those scenarios, you got two options. You're either going to give up, or you're going to persevere and make the most of it. And same thing, getting out of bed in the morning. You're either going to get up and you're going to, have to do this, or I get to do this. So just trying to keep things in perspective, and it's been a tough year for sure, and it's challenging. It's when Eli started coming on strong and started making a dent in the points and stuff. So, yeah, and then we lost it there for a minute, and it's so you can imagine, it's a lot to go through, but I feel like we're coping with it all good, and just really trying to keep the focus on doing what I know how to do best, and letting the rest, whether it's talk, whether it's competition, whatever the case may be. As long as I leave the track, did everything I could, and I'm happy with that.
All right, guys, thank you.